As another year comes to an end, it's always fun to look back on the year and all the games that were released. This year was a good year for gaming, with a great deal of good games releasing. While I wasn't able to play all the games that released this year that I would like to have, and some of them are still in my backlog, I was able to play a fair amount, and in this video I'll be honoring my top 6 games of 2019. What's up, Mush Army? I'm Lucas at Chamushgoo. Before I start this list, these games are not in any specific order, and this is not a countdown. I just wanted to talk about the games I feel deserve recognition that came out this year. Also, these games are based off of games I have played this year, including re-releases and collection packs. Since these are my personal picks, if there's a game that you played and thought deserved recognition but didn't make it on my list, or if you agree with any of my entries, let me know down in the comment section. With that out of the way, let's get started. Number 1. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. Ukulele started out as a Kickstarter a few years back as a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, a game that originated on the Nintendo 64 by Rare, who was later bought by Microsoft. The first Ukulele game was an open-world platformer similar to games of the Nintendo 64 era and got decent reviews. During E3 2019, a new game in the series was announced as The Impossible Lair, and this time the game was inspired by 2D platformers like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. In Ukulele and the Impossible Lair, Capital B is back and up to no good once again. He comes up with a plan to use his hymen device to enslave all the bees. Yuka and Laylee must take on Capital B's Impossible Lair and free the bees. This game has a Breath of the Wild-like progression, as you can take on Capital B's Impossible Lair from the start of the game, but it would be more challenging than to wait until you have completed some of the levels and gained some abilities. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair at its core is a simple 2D platforming game, with the challenges come from trying to find all the collectibles scattered around each level and in the overworld. Your platforming skills will be tested during the final challenge in the Impossible Lair, due to careful precision being required at times to make it to the end. Number 2. Guacamole One Two Punch. Guacamole One Two Punch is a collection of both Guacamole games on one cart. These games are a combination of Metrovania platformers and beat-em-up type games that are inspired from traditional Mexican culture and folklore. You play as Juan, a farmer, and on the Day of the Dead he goes to visit his childhood friend and love interest, the president's daughter, Lupita. An evil skeleton named Carlos Calquia comes and attacks and kills Juan and takes the president's daughter. After this, Juan gets a magical mask, bringing him back to the living world as a luchador, and Juan goes on a mission to save his love and defeat Calquia. Guacamole 2 at first continues off where the first game ends, but quickly changes into taking place 7 years later. I don't want to spoil the game for anyone who hasn't played either of them but wants to, so I'm not going to go into the second game since the game's plot is a spoiler to the first game. Number 3. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Pokemon Sword and Shield introduces us to the Galar region, the 8th generation of Pokemon games, and for the first time a mainline Pokemon game is on the big screen with the Switch. Like Pokemon games of the past, you started out as a young trainer with ambitions to be the very best and become the champion. While we've seen this before, it was refreshing to see that despite some controversy the game had, that annoyances that the last installments had were fixed with these games, such as hand-holding and constant tutorials. While not every Pokemon was included in the recent games, I was able to look past it and enjoy the game and its story up until the end. However, the ending seemed to drag on a little too much for me. One of the big features of the game is the Wild Area, an open world area where the Pokemon roam free. As the player progresses throughout the game, you are able to catch stronger Pokemon. Also in the Wild Area are Dynamax raids. Dynamaxing is the main gimmick of these games, where for a few turns in battle your Pokemon is able to get big and use special moves. Dynamax raids are raids similar to Pokemon Go, where you and some other players or NPCs can take a giant Pokemon down, and if you are able to do so in the requirements, you are able to catch it and use these Pokemon. They might have special moves or stats as well. During my playthrough, I kept getting drawn into the wild area and to Dynamax raids, to explore and see what Pokemon would spawn and who I was able to catch as I progressed in the game. Number 4. Disney Classic Games Aladdin and Lion King. Nostalgia for the 90s have been big for the past few years, and we are getting to see many games from the era get remade. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are just 2 examples of that. But what about games from the past that are getting new forms of life on modern systems? That's exactly what Disney Classic Games Aladdin and Lion King is. What started out as a rumor during a GameStop conference ended up being true. Disney Classic Games Aladdin and Lion King is a collection of the games from 20 years ago. These are the Genesis games, which were different from the SNES versions. However, as someone who grew up on the SNES version of Aladdin, I would much rather have seen that version at least included with the game, if not just that version. Hopefully these games will start a path of other classic games releasing onto modern systems. Maybe the SNES version will release down the road too. I guess I'll just have to keep hoping on that. Number 5. Super Mario Maker 2. Mario Maker is a staple game for any Nintendo or platformer fan. Allowing you to create and play others' created Mario levels is a dream come true, and Nintendo allowed us to do so with the first Mario Maker on the Wii U. Building off the original game, Super Mario Maker 2 fixed some of the issues that the original game had, as well as the addition of slopes and a story mode. The story mode isn't that long, but with the pre-made levels, it's sure to test your platforming skills. With possible endless hours of entertainment, more tools than before, and handheld and portable mode that the Switch offers, Super Mario Maker 2 is an essential for any Nintendo Switch owner, and would possibly last anyone throughout the lifespan of the Switch and possibly after, giving us our Mario fix until the next mainline game is released or until we get Super Mario Maker 3. Number 6. Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. Even though it's safe to say that the 3DS is pretty much dead at this point, I had to give the system some love with Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, a 3DS game that's a remake of a DS game. In this game, the Mushroom Kingdom citizens are getting sick and swelling up. Bowser eats a magic mushroom that makes him inhale parts of the kingdom, including Mario and Luigi. From there, our mustached heroes must find a way to cure the Mushroom Kingdom and stop the evil character from taking over the kingdom and Bowser's castle. Unlike other games in the series, Bowser's Inside Story has 3 playable characters: Mario, Luigi, and the Koopa King himself, Bowser. Throughout the journey of saving the world, not only do you explore the Mushroom Kingdom, but you also are able to explore inside Bowser. If you thought this game's title was just a play on words, you'd be mistaken. You literally play the story inside of Bowser. With the game's quirky humor and lengthy story, it's a shame that this game's remake on the 3DS was the worst selling game of the whole Mario & Luigi series. In the low sales defense, this game's remake wasn't really needed since the 3DS is able to play DS games, but the remake's graphic upgrade makes the game crispier and cleaner. Whether you play the DS version or the upgraded 3DS version of the game, it's a must-play for any Nintendo fan. So that is my list of 6 games I enjoyed during 2019. Since all our tastes are different, let me know what your picks are down in the comment section. If you like this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel or haven't already subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with my uploads. With 2020 around the corner, I have tons of new ideas for this channel, so you don't want to miss them. Thanks for watching and have a happy new year, and I'll see you all in 2020.